Hey, it's Mark. Rudy Miles, Trikes and Bikes. This is a two-wheel edition, gravel bike. You guys are smart. I bet you figured that out already. So, it's been a while since I put a video out. A lot to talk about travels and some trials and tribulations of being a rookie YouTuber, equipment issues, and all kinds of stuff. Getting bit by bugs. Oh yeah, a nice washout here. It's a cool little downslope there. There's always a huge rut right in the middle of it and a sharp turn at the bottom, so you don't gain a whole lot of speed. Every once in a while they come out and fill it in, compact it, but nature has its way. A couple heavy rains and it's washed out again. Anyway, I should probably tell you where we are, because this is a new location. This is called the Hunn property. This is in the Route 10 area near Dover Air Force Base. Although you'd never guess that. That's what's cool about this place, a little refuge, a little nature area. We're actually pretty close to the city of Dover. Route 10, I've shown you some trike rides out there. We're running right behind that. I will add this to my list of home courses that are really cool. It's not super long. So this is almost like two separate loops. We're on the wooded side. Some water views here. And there's another part that's kind of out in the open. It's a straight gravel walking path. Stitch those two together. Full lap, I think. Around 2.5 to 3 miles. But it lacks in distance. It's kind of fun. Twisty and turny. A little bit of up and downhill. And some nice views. So I usually combine this with that paved Route 10 trail that I showed you on the trike. A couple laps around, I can get a 20-mile ride out of it. So I said there's a lot to talk about. A lot of it has to do with the Tater Tot Recumbent rally. And I'll save my reflections on that for a trike ride video, since it was a trike rally. But what I will talk about, like I said, trials and tribulations of being a rookie YouTuber. It's my first road trip with equipment, and for the most part everything went pretty well. I don't think I had any rides where I forgot anything that would have kept me from recording. But the learning part about traveling has to do with transporting your camera. Because in my last 2 videos from Tater Tot, I started having stitching problems. I am not a camera or tech wizard, so I'm talking about this with limited knowledge. But the Insta360 has 2 lenses, and through the miracle of its software, it stitches those 2 images together for a full 360 view. And when everything's working right, it's really cool. That's why I bought the camera. It's how you can frame everything after shooting. The way I transported the camera, obviously I had a lens cover on it. And I have a little equipment bag that my Saramonic microphones came in. So I would put the microphone on, lens cap, and put it inside that, or put it inside a backpack. That's how I transported the camera. That's how I've been doing it on my local rides. What I didn't take into account was all the luggage and constantly checking in and out of hotel rooms. Transporting the camera in a soft backpack like that didn't protect it against stuff getting put on top of it and getting bumped around. So my last 2 videos, I started noticing a really annoying black line in the shot. Now I use a wired external mic that has a short wire that attaches it from the receiver to the mic adapter on the Insta360. And if you don't tuck that just right, it can get in the shot. That's what I thought was happening. I come to find out was I got so frustrated tucking the wire, and by all accounts it looked like it should have been out of the shot, and actually it was. What I was seeing was the body of the camera. So I did a little research, and my friend ChatGPT found out the issue could be that one of the lenses was knocked out of alignment by having an impact. And I started thinking about everything that camera was going through in the backpack. And I said, aha, that's probably it. So that camera's been shipped off for warranty replacement, and I just found out that they are gonna honor the warranty, so that's cool. What I'm shooting with today is another camera that I damaged. It's got some scratches on the lens. You'll probably notice it. When I did my video at New Jersey Motorsports Park, I shot a couple laps holding the selfie stick, and obviously riding one-handed takes a little bit away from your handling, so I wanted to try the chest mount so I could ride with 2 hands. And I was really hyper, really in a hurry, and I didn't need to be. I didn't have the lens cover on, and I dropped the camera, scratched the lens. So, and that one was this is my original camera. And a little bit of panic, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to put up with videos with those marks on the lens. I got a new camera, so I've managed to mess up both of them. The second one I did buy a protection plan on. Found out I didn't have to use that because it was still under, it's only a month old, still under factory warranty. So glad to have this camera to be able to make videos. Waiting on the other one to come back. When that comes back, I'll send this one out because it's only about a month or two older, still well within the 1 year. And I haven't watched them yet, but I did research trials and tribulations of YouTubers damaging cameras, so I'm going to see what they have to say about how to safeguard and protect so we don't have to go through this again. Also fully understanding that stuff happens. You know, can't guarantee you're never going to break another camera. But I think being a little more careful and experienced, hopefully won't have to go through that again for a while. This is where the opening scene of the video was. This course is so short that I also add in this little out and back on this gravel road, goes to an historic house up here. Adds a little bit of distance to the lap. We just did the whole thing. We'll check the mileage here when we're done, and then we'll reverse course, do it again. Not the only. The first gravel bike video I did, we were still in beautiful late spring weather. And I was talking about how it wasn't humid. We weren't suffering with any high humidity, heat indexes or anything like that. Well, it's here now. Heat index today is supposed to be triple digits. It may be for all I know right now. So it's good that we're in the woods, mostly shaded. All right, so that's lap one. Counterclockwise. Get a quick trick here and reverse course. All right, so lap one was all about cameras and equipment. Now we'll talk about cycling and fitness. And I think I've talked about it in some of my previous two-wheel videos, but since I got into recumbent trikes, I do the majority of my riding on that. And I found out last year that recumbent trike fitness does not equal two-wheel fitness. I don't have so much problem with the leg muscles, though they are different, but it's with the upper body, neck and arm fatigue. Because the beauty of the trike is there is no pressure on your upper body. So lots of miles on a trike does nothing to build up your neck muscles or your arm, or your arms, or I guess your back. And I try to do a long two-wheel ride after a lot of triking. That sound was my head getting hit by a branch. Anyway, I should pay attention. Yeah, I tried to do a long two-wheel ride last year, 30 miles. Too long for me, anyway. And my neck gave out. So I haven't been on my gravel bike since way before we left for the trike rally, because I was training for that on the trike. So I'm like starting from scratch when it comes to two-wheel fitness. I did an hour ride yesterday, Browns Branch Park, my little test course. This one's pretty similar, a little bit longer lap. But I got to get to the point where I can do 1 mile rides and feel like I'm getting some strength back in my neck and arms before we try to do any longer, which I want to do, because we got a couple of nice gravel bike trails here in Delaware, down at Cape Henlopen. You've seen the bike loop, the paved bike loop. They got some really nice gravel trails. That's a little bit longer of a ride, so I gotta work my way up to that. I was saying this trail is like two separate loops. This is the one that's more out in the open. I called it like a gravel walking trail. And working our way around this. And we'll work back into the woods. Really hot today, so not pushing the pace. Been in my small front chain ring the whole time, but still enjoying it. I enjoy both types of cycling, trikes and bikes, on-road and off-road. It's one of the things I think makes cycling so cool, is there's so many different ways to do it, so many different types of terrain you can ride on. All right, so ends ride number 2 in my attempt to regain two-wheel riding fitness. 10 miles in an hour is all I could handle on this 93-degree humid day. At one point in the ride, I got too close to the edge of the trail, trying to avoid a big rut, and I got whipped by a thorn bush, and it caused a cut on my right arm. Hopefully the blood wasn't too distracting for you. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.